The Herd is heading for Alexandria in the 70th episode overall of The Walking Dead. Welcome back to Fog Entertainment. This is episode 3, season 6. Thank you for tuning in to our review, and we're looking forward to this one. But if you like walkers, you'll love it. If you like a bit of character development, you might not, because I think in season 6, in the first half of the season, they just went all out. Here's 40,000 walkers, and the character development's kind of going to go take a back seat, brother. But if you like dead walkers roaming about, then you might like it, brother.
Yeah, lots of zombies, not a lot else happening though, and for me that's not enough. You can't just put thousands and thousands and thousands of walkers on the screen and expect us to care. So yeah, let's talk about it. Let's go. Thank you. So
you got walkers in the woods.
Basically, what we got was all the characters that we didn't see in episode 2. It was their time to shine in episode 3. That's kind of how it was playing out here.
And that's what I don't like about The Walking Dead at this point, man. I like show when it's all included in the one episode. It's like, oh, we gave you all the jobbers' perspective and JSS, but and thank you. Yeah, see this episode, have you got Rick, have you got Glenn, etc. Abraham, Sasha, Michonne, people with a bit more about them. I mean, the actual main character, people for season 1, boom. Yes, you've got them in there. You've got Daryl as well. But I mean, come on, what are we doing? I mean, it's like running through the woods with no substance. It's like, yeah, we're trying to rescue Alexandria, but this entire episode consists of running around the woods trying to defeat a herd. There's nothing else. That's it. And it's like, well, no, what are we doing? Rick's running doing his thing. A few people are getting bit left, right, and centre. I don't even have any idea how half the people are getting bit. There's this guy who gets bit from behind, and it's like, how did no one hear the walker? They killed them all.
Yeah,
Buffy won.
There was another guy that shot his gun and shot... Was
Scott. He shot
Scott. Then he ran.
Partly it's Sturgis. That guy. Yeah. That guy with a great name.
He ran away, and later on he got caught. We seen Daryl. He was on his bike with Abraham and Sasha. They're just driving away. They're just leading the zombies away. Pretty much that is it. That's their contribution to this episode. I'm not even joking. It's not like they did something else. Now Daryl later on did hear Rick and gunshots on the walkie-talkie, and he was going to go and check it out, but then did a 180 and decided to drive back to Sasha and Abraham as they continued allowing the walkers to follow them on the road. So, I mean, that's their contribution to this episode wrapped up.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I just think The Walking Dead at this point, man, it's lost what it lost the magic, didn't it?
Yeah, I think the magic is gone.
I think the magic was gone a long time ago, I'll be brutally honest, but I just think, like, as the seasons go on from when the show was like got it, by each passing season, just by natural order, it's going to get worse. And I would say as The Walking Dead does go on, it probably, once it hits its peak, it just nosedives and gets worse. I really doubt we are going to be like, here, I actually preferred season 11 to 10. I don't think that now. Maybe because 10 was more filmed during COVID than 11, that might be more beneficial towards 10 or 11 rather than 10. But we'll get to that in about 5 seasons' time. I'm looking forward, kind of in a weird way, to the last couple of seasons because we haven't watched it. Well, this stuff we have watched it, but yeah, Scott, he's getting his leg treated. Damn it! They're in an abandoned town. Nicholas's face, he's frozen with fear. Because this is pretty much the time where a bunch of jobbers died about 6 months ago and he froze with fear then.
Yeah, we see Nicholas and Glenn, they approach a dead body. He claims to know who this person is. It's a walker. Oh, that was one of our guys. We left him behind. So Nicholas does the right thing. He puts him down. They're like trapped in this like apartment, this building, I guess, the majority of them, outside of Glenn and Nicholas. Glenn and Nicholas are looking for a way to escape. The rest of them are trapped in this building. We have the guy whose back is bit. Not quite sure what his name is, but he wants to give Michonne a letter to give to his wife who he married 6 months ago. But she's like, no, we're going to get you back to Alexandria. We're going to get you home. And at this point, I'm thinking it doesn't look good for this guy. Then they make a break for it because there's like walkers outside. They have to try and escape. So they do escape. The woman that's with the group gets taken down. Didn't know her name. Didn't really care when she died.
Annie.
I'm not too sure whether she had scenes before this episode. I can't really recall. And Annie, I don't remember her in season 5. And I don't recall her in this season.
Pretty much everybody that's died in this season so far. Wasn't in season 5.
Yeah, definitely not. Who was the one that Abraham saved from the construction yard?
Tobin? Or the woman?
The woman.
I can't remember her name.
It wasn't Annie anyway. Anyway, she wasn't here. So this woman gets taken down. The rest of them go. They go down this alley. There's a big fence, and they have to try and climb over it. So they get over Scott first because, well, first Heath climbs over, then he helps Scott over. Michonne and the guy with the bitten back, whose name keeps escaping me.
David.
They tried
What
to
a
get
fucking
over.
generic name, by the way.
They tried to go over. The walkers come from behind. They grab them. They're trying to pull Michonne down. They're trying to pull David down. Of course, they managed to pull down the big, strong man. And Michonne, the woman, manages to climb on over. David is then getting ripped apart. And the note that he wanted to give to his wife, like, falls out of his pocket and lands on the floor. And, like, the walkers are kind of trampling on it at this point. It looks like his wife's not going to get his message. And then Heath is like, right, we gotta go. And it's like, see, at this point, should they not just have put David down?
No, they should have. I actually don't get it because
Would that not been the humane thing to do?
you've got Heath just shooting like endless rounds into the herd, and it's like, why? Put one in your pal's face. I know it sounds brutal, but it's putting him out of his misery.
Yeah, because he's going to turn anyway. And he's going to fucking die a horrible death here, so... Yeah, I don't really get it, but they decide to... I mean, I'm not saying they shouldn't leave him, because he's on the other side of the fence. He's going to die. But I think they should have quickened up the process. They didn't, though. They left. We then seen Rick in the RV. He got attacked by 2 of the wolves. Not a lot happened.
It's just Rick killing 2 no-names.
Yeah, 2-on-1. He got attacked, yet Rick came out on top. No surprise there. Daryl did hear the gunfire, but decided he wasn't going to go and check it out because Sasha and Abraham somehow needed him. Why did they need him, by the way? It was just Sasha and Abraham driving in their car, Daryl driving on his bike. Why did you need, like, 2 vehicles to, like, lure walkers? I don't get it.
Yeah, I think when some of the group was in need of help, I think you should prioritise that rather than like 2 vehicles are better than 1.
Unless they're planning on separating the walkers at one point. I don't know if that was the plan, but I don't recall them saying that they were going to split up.
Yeah.
So we get that, and then Nicholas and Glenn are...
They're on the dumpster.
Yeah,
they make it to the dumpster.
They're on the run, and they kind of go down a dead end as well, similar to like the other ones, but they can't climb the fence because there's barbed wire everywhere, there's walkers over every side of the fence, and I mean, you've got Nicholas pretty fast on his feet. We know how good of a runner Glenn is. Glenn's good at getting in and out of tight spaces and surviving. But somehow they get themselves trapped in a corner by the slow walkers. They climb on top of the dumpster. Doesn't look like there's a lot they can do. I mean, at this point, it looks like there's no way out. And Nicholas then turns around to Glenn and he says, "Thank you." Obviously, because Glenn gave him a chance to continue on. Glenn gave him another shot at life, so to speak. Could have got him kicked out of the group, but he didn't. And when you think Nicholas has like redeemed himself, when you think Nicholas is, you know, trying to be a good person and do the right thing, not necessarily saying what he done here was a bad thing, but he shoots himself in the head, and then we see Nicholas and Glenn fall off the dumpster onto the floor, and you just see the walkers dive in on top of Glenn, blood everywhere, guts everywhere. Glenn can't do nothing. He's just laying on the floor, and he is being torn into by the walkers, and that's it for Glenn.
That's it for Glenn. Of course, he doesn't die here, right? But at the time when I first watched this, I thought he was gone.
Spoiler much?
Any spoiler much? We all know Glenn's no deed. Come on, accept it. Yeah, palm on the head. But I mean, come on. I thought it would have been a good death for Glenn. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, we also got the whole the repeat of the message from episode 1.
Good luck, asshole. But I mean, come on. Nicholas has fell on top of him. There's about 50 walkers completely clawing and biting at Nicholas. It's not like Glenn falls, gets winded by Nicholas, but like 3 seconds later, he crawls underneath the dumpster and like opens the manhole cover. I believe he opens, as we see in a couple of episodes' time. I mean, I could maybe accept to get out of here with 1 or 2 bites, but to get out of here completely unscathed, I think is a wee bit unrealistic. But as you say, with the whole throwback to season 1, I mean, it painted the picture that Glenn was done. I thought he was.
Same. I thought he was dead.
And, I mean, did the chicken
Turns
out
out he's
here?
not, though. Turns out he's still alive.
Yeah, he is. Of course he is. Right, what's the problem with that?
Let's just finish it, man.
No, well, what's the actual problem?
Because I go through effort to make it seem like we're not spoiling anything, and it looks like he's dead, and you just come straight in first thing. But we all know he's not dead. Why am I wasting my fucking time? Why am I wasting my time trying to, like tiptoe around the fact that this was a death for Dick Glenn and they fucking out us?
But surprisingly, this didn't actually end the episode. You would think that Glenn falling off with Nicholas and presumably getting ate alive would have ended the episode, but the episode ends with Rick trying to make contact with other people, but it just doesn't happen. The herd you see through like the back of the RV coming from the forest. I believe you see Michonne, Heath, and Scott also arriving at Alexandria, kind of wondering, what's going on there, brother? But it's just weird because it ends like that, and, spoiler alert, episode 4 is literally Flashback City with Morgan. It's just weird. It just feels disjointed.
Also, another weird thing was earlier in the episode when they heard gunshots in the radio and they assumed that there was something happening back in Alexandria, and that Alexandria was under attack. Rick says, look, we have to follow this mission through. They're going to have to deal with it themselves. What happens. It's like your son and your little infant child is back at Alexandria.
And everyone else.
You'd have thought Rick would have cared a little bit more, but
Glenn's obviously got Maggie back there, among other people.
I just didn't feel... That felt a little bit far-fetched to me. I think in previous seasons, they would have been rushing back to Alexandria as quick as they possibly could.
But as we touched upon in the first 2 episodes, this is forced.
Like, see in the prison, remember Rick, Glenn, and Darrow, that they're out sewing off the gate?
Then he runs. He does the iconic run.
See when they seen there was walkers in the prison yard and they were approaching like Laurie and stuff like that, Rick didn't turn around to Darrow and Glenn and go, well, look, we need to finish our mission here. We need to make sure this fence is secured. They're going to have to survive in that prison yard by themselves.
Yeah, but as I said, see the first 2 episodes, it just feels so forced with this herd. It feels like they're just trying to... It doesn't feel natural. It's like, here, there's this massive herd, like 5 miles away from Alexandria, so we're going to make sure that never comes near us, even though there's... I mean, as I said, if that guy can build fences, why didn't he just build a fence around the quarry? If it bothered them that much? I mean, is that not easier than trying to force, 50,000 walkers to go in the one direction? Completely ridiculous. It feels forced, but here, regardless, I thought this episode was pretty good. I thought it was the strongest episode of the season. But again, I don't think there's an awful lot to it. There's not a lot, I thought the death with Glenn and Nicholas was alright.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 7. I thought it was the best episode of the season so far. I just wish there was a little bit more to it rather than, here, there's a shitload of walkers and we're trying to lure them away. I like the Glenn and Nicholas stuff. I think they could have kept this going on for a little bit longer. I think they've killed Nicholas off too early.
I agree, but I think watching this, I think it's incredible to think we're not even halfway through the show at this point.
Yeah, look, I think Nicholas could have survived longer. I see no reason why this couldn't have been. I don't know. Why couldn't Glenn and Nicholas? Why couldn't that have been the mid-season finale? Something like
no, I do agree with that, right? But my problem with The Walking Dead is, see at this point, season 6, episode 3, how much do you honestly think at this time is this show got left? If you had to make an estimate.
Well, it's doing well, it's popular, you're thinking it can go on and on and on.
Yeah, but that's the problem. It's time to pull the plug, I think, and wrap it up neatly. To think that this show isn't halfway through until what? I believe it's like the latter end of season 7. That's mental to actually think about that. But
I'm going to disagree. I don't think watching back in season 6 we were thinking this show needs to end soon.
No, not end soon, but you would think here we're well into the second half of this show's tenure. That's what I thought watching it.
Well, technically we kind of are.
But we're just not, though. This is the 70th episode, and there's 177 episodes.
Yeah, but that's because...
There's 107 episodes to go.
But in the later episodes, they just did multiple seasons. For some strange reason. I mean, we are, in terms of seasons, we are pretty close to the halfway point. We're almost at the halfway point.
Yeah, but no, but it's episodes. You got to factor it in episodes.
Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, no, but like The Sopranos had what 23 episodes in its final season. So I mean, for me, that has to count as you have to factor that into things. That's just my opinion. But anyway, thank you for watching. 7 out of 10. Up next, we've got Eastman. We've got Morgan. Are you looking forward to it?
No.